Good morning, salam alaikum. Welcome to Bina News Tour, not airing at the weekends. I will be your host today, and my name is Joy Preston. Our headlines. Ghana receives 1.3 million Pfizer vaccines from the US. Ghana to be off UK's COVID-19 red list countries from Monday. Damperi has been sworn in as substantive IGP. And Mining trains heads north. Government commits to stringent regulations. Social media shut down during the week makes headlines. These and many other interesting topics will be coming your way. Don't go away. Right, let's get it rolling. So our first headline. President Nana Addo Akufo-Addo Dankwa swears in Damperi as substantive IGP. He was sworn in recently, and the confirmation ceremony was held at the Jubilee House just yesterday. Until today, according to the president, Dr. Damperi was acting in that capacity for the last 2 months, having been promoted from his previous role as the Director General in charge of administration at the Ghana Police Service. Okay, so Damperi has been officially sworn in as the substantive IGP of the Ghana Police Service. Ghana to be off UK's COVID-19 red list amongst countries that are free to travel without any restrictions. That comes off on Monday. Okay, so with effect from Monday, October 11th, Ghana will be removed from the United Kingdom government's red list of COVID-19 high-risk countries. Ghana is part of a list of 47 countries and territories to be taken off the list, making it easier for more people to travel abroad to a larger number of countries and territories. Passengers returning to England from these destinations will no longer be required to enter hotel quarantine. So Ghana will be off the red list of the United Kingdom amongst countries that are of high risk. This means that passengers will be able to travel without having to quarantine from and to the UK starting from Monday, October 11th. Okay, still on COVID-19. Ghana also receives 1.3 million Pfizer vaccines from the US. And this delivery of 1.3 million doses of Pfizer vaccine from the US government, sorry, let me take that again. Ghana has taken delivery of 1.3 million doses of Pfizer vaccines from the US government through the COVAX facility. The donation is in fulfillment of the government's promise to the government of Ghana 2 weeks ago when President Akufo-Addo was in the U.S. U.S. Ambassador to Ghana, Stephanie Surveillance, said the U.S. is leading the global response to COVID-19 pandemic and accelerated global vaccine distribution. Okay, so that means the Pfizer vaccine is already in Ghana, and more people will be receiving that. That's actually good news there. Moving on, let's talk about more protective measures needed to curb coups, Dr. Chambers has stated. So he's saying curbing coup d'etat in West Africa requires more proactive measures, including dialogue and mediation. Right, so he's the former special representative of the UN Secretary General and head of the United Nations Office for West Africa and the Sahel, Dr. Mohamed Ibn Chambers has said. He's saying that we need to do more to try and stop the occurrence of coup d'etat in West Africa. And according to him, the resurgence of military interventions, in a quote, sends very bad signals and had the potential to reverse the democratic process across the region. While expressing concern over the seeming public support for unconstitutional regime changes, as occurred in Mali and Guinea, he cautioned that such situations could complicate the enforcement of the democratic norms of good governance. Yes, I totally agree with Dr. Mohammed Chambers with his concerns there that we need to do more to try and stop the reoccurrence of coup. It's becoming more like a norm. We've already seen one also in Mali and also in Guinea more recently. And he's suggesting that we need to do more in terms of dialogue in ensuring that the good process that has been started in terms of democratic process should not be totally eradicated by the occurrences of coup. He has genuine concerns there. Okay. Now let's move on to mining and what's going on. Mining train heads to the northern region. Government commits to stringent regulation. So the government has committed approach to regulate the emerging mining sector in the northern part of the country. The north has lately become very alive with mining activities, both small and large-scale operations, while illegal mining, also known as galamsey, is also becoming a major challenge. So more mining activities happening in the northern region there. And at the same time, we are told that galamsey is also making a lot of headways. In the Upper East region, Cardinal Resources, a mining firm, is currently undertaking preparatory works towards establishing one of the country's biggest mining operations in Talensay, while Earl International has obtained the necessary permits to commence large-scale underground rock mining in the same region. The exploitation of iron ore at Saini in the northern region, significant deposits of gold at Dollar Power, a border town in the Savannah region, and illegal small-scale mining activities at Nagroma in the northeast region are some of the emerging issues in the sector. So we are told that there are some companies that have legally obtained their licenses to do mining, and at the same time, there are also illegal miners also doing what they're doing. I think the biggest part here is just knowing the fact that a lot of activities in terms of mining is happening in the northern region. Our hope should be that as much as all of these great companies are mining and extracting the resources, it should also translate into good for the local communities, and they should also ensure that they don't end up damaging the environment. I'm sure that the key policy makers will have their eyes on the companies that have officially obtained their licenses. Let's move on to other news. UTAG threatens another strike. Okay, so the University Teachers Association of Ghana, known as UTAG, has warned of another looming strike action. After barely a month since it resumed an earlier strike, the teachers group has resolved to lay down its tools again yesterday, being Friday the 8th. A letter co-signed by the UTAG National President, Professor Solomon Nuno, and National Secretary, Dr. Asaria Santi Anor, on October 5th, indicated that, in a quote, following the signing of the Memorandum of Agreement with the employer to complete the negotiation on the conditions of service of university teachers within 1 month by resolving all outstanding issues which form the basis for suspending the strike action. It is sad to report that the 1 month moratorium has elapsed and the negotiation has almost reached a stalemate. Okay, so that is UTAG looking at starting another strike. I think what all the bodies that make up UTAG should be thinking is what, what impact will this have on the students that are now is becoming a norm in and out of school. We all know that education is the bedrock of every country, and the more you think they can together come to a final resolution about the terms and conditions. Right. Let's move on to China and Taiwan. Tensions with China are at their worst in 40 years, Taiwan's defense minister has said, warning of the risk of an accidental strike between the two countries. Mediators will be keeping their eyes on these two countries as tension builds between them. Let's hope. Right. So, I'm sure that you all witnessed what happened within this week when the social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp suddenly collapsed. And this left a lot of people almost speechless. So for those who had all their lives on these social media platforms, it was a real time of panic. Let's look at some of the main reasons why this happened. We are told that social media services, Facebook, WhatsApp, and Instagram are back up and running after an outage that lasted almost 6 hours. It blamed an internal technical issues which not only affected Facebook services but reportedly also employees' work, passes, and emails. Now, there were a lot of speculations about what it was. Some of the speculations included being, the social media platforms being hacked, etc. But it's all back up now. Don't forget to leave your comments on what you think really caused that sudden shutdown of the social media platforms. We're still gathering opinions and reasons why it happened. Okay, let's move on to news across Africa. Okay, so now let's talk about Nigeria, virtual Naira. Nigeria is gearing up to become the first country on the continent to launch its own digital currency. The e-Naira, equal in value to the local Naira, will be issued by the Central Bank of Nigeria, which launched a new website in September to act as the new currency's official platform. Nigeria banned cryptocurrencies in February after a crypto boom fueled by people looking for ways to avoid the weakening Naira currency and counter soaring inflation and unemployment. So Nigeria looking to implement the first digital currency on the continent by introducing what it's called the e-Naira. All right, let's move on to other news. The World Bank called on Glencore and other private creditors on Tuesday this week to commit to debt restructuring talks with Chad. Any further delay in committing to a debt deal risk destabilizing the poverty-stricken nation that is in linchpin of stability in an unstable region, the bank said in a statement. Okay, so call on countries to try to relieve Chad of its debts there. Okay, Idris Deby, Chad's president, described the state oil company's decision to borrow $1.4 billion from Anglo-Swiss commodities trader Glencore in 2014 as a fool's bargain. It was meant to be repaid with future sales of crude, then trading at $100 per barrel. But as oil price plummeted, debt payments were swallowing 85% of Chad's dwindling oil revenue by 2018. Okay, so it looks like Chad has been unable to pay its debts back, and there is a call for all of these debts to be lifted by the world. Zambia's outstanding external debt to Chinese financiers is approximately $6.6 billion, almost double the $3.4 billion revealed by the previous Zambian government. The revelations, detailed in a research paper by the China Africa Research Institute, reinforce concerns over a lack of transparency and complicate debt restructuring. We are being told again here that Zambia has learned an approximately $6.6 billion, almost doubled the $3.4 billion that was revealed by the previous Zambia government. And this revelation, again, is detailed in a research paper by the China African Research Institute and reinforces concerns over a lack of transparency. So Zambia borrowing more money than it can literally pay back. The question we should be asking is, can we, as a continent, really afford to be taking all these loans that we know we can't even pay back? And on top of that, they are not even transparent about it. If you're not transparent about the amount of loan you've taken, how would you expect international bodies to come in to try and bail you out? I think this issue with debt is not just seen in places like Zambia, Chad. It seems to be a real big issue that Africa is facing. So we should be asking ourselves, how do we come out of debt? What can we do to begin to truly secure our future? Because it affects every single one of us. Right, let's move on to Burkina Faso. Burkina Faso's former president Blaise Compaoré, the main defendant in a long-awaited trial on the 1987 assassination of his predecessors, Thomas Sankara, will boycott the upcoming proceedings, according to his lawyers. In the trial opening last week, Compaoré and 13 others face an array of charges in the death of Sankara, a charismatic revolutionary followers described as the African Che Guevara. All right. Now let's go to Malawi. Malawi's President Lazarus Chakwera has ordered sign language to be used on all television stations and at official functions, and to be recognized as a national language. Language interpreters. In a quote, he said, "We must stop thinking of sign language as a favor to." In a quote, he said, "We must stop thinking of sign language as a favor to deaf people." He said, "That kind of condescension has no place in this new Malawi. We need a re-education of our minds to regard sign language as a human right." The president, as an official language in its television stations and events, so it's going to be literally a human right, and it shouldn't be seen as something we are doing, according to him, being done for deaf people. It should be something that is part of the nation. I think this is fantastic. We should be looking at also emulating such. I think in Ghana, we have made a lot of effort to ensure that, people within the deaf community are not left out of communications. Sometimes you see in a lot of television stations, whilst, you have talks going on, there's an interpreter. I think this is a fantastic move by Malawi. Other African countries should also emulate it and do similarly. Okay, let's talk about malaria and the malaria vaccine. Eagerness for contribution. Now, researchers and health professionals have been celebrating after the World Health Organization, WHO, approved the widespread use of the world's first malaria vaccine, with more than 260,000 children under 5 dying from malaria each year. In sub-Saharan Africa, this development is decades in the making, could save tens of thousands of lives, according to WHO. So malaria vaccine it's going to be administered